Stage 7 of the Longines Global Champions Tour. We find ourselves in the Parisian city. What a destination and what a location that brings us through to Champ de Mars, that brings us through to the Eiffel Tower, and brings us through to the almost halfway point of the 2025 season. Some famous faces and some famous victories that have come from this showground. And now we fast forward to 2025, asking the question, who then is going to be victorious here this afternoon, this evening, on Stage 7 of the LGCT season? A man that you would have seen in the introduction, a man who certainly needs no introduction, is a former winner here in Paris as Marlon Zonatelli joins us to open up the studio. Marlon, welcome back. It must be wonderful for you to return. I imagine some very, very happy memories.
Yeah, fantastic. You know how it goes today. The phones always bring you the good memories from back in the years, and we had a beautiful picture here in front of this tower with the whole team and like a diamond. That was an amazing year.
Does it feel like it was just the other day? I realize now that years have gone by. Does it feel like it was just the other day?
Yeah, even though it's 3 years ago, it feels like it was just yesterday because it's so many memories. It's still fixed on you, and just when you're here, brings it everything back.
Talk to me about performing here in this ring. We come off the back of a very busy period on the French Riviera. We have Cannes, we have Romochuel, Saint-Tropez, generally very small, tricky sand rings. You then come to Paris, a lot of questions being asked. As a man that has been successful here, what would you tell to the 40 riders that are coming up later on today? What are the challenges? What are the tricks that often present themselves in a Paris LGCT Grand Prix?
Yeah, Baudot is an amazing course builder. He's always super fair with the horses, so his courses many of the times are very technical courses. Like you see a lot of faults everywhere, delicate jumps. Every kind of ring that you mentioned there has different aspects. Like here, one of them is that we're on top of a fountain. So we have the middle part, which is higher, and the bottom corner.
And how much impact does that make? For someone who doesn't realize, the ring is actually built on top of the Champ de Mars. It's basically a hill that lives in the middle of the arena that we just pile sand on top of. For someone who doesn't quite realize the impact that can have on whether it be an oxer coming up, when you are climbing that hill and coming down that hill, explain to me what impact just a minimal hill can have.
Yeah, it's like if you run yourself, you know when you go a little bit uphill running how hard that is. Imagine for the horses to jump uphill a big oxer, or even to come downhill towards a delicate vertical. That's not what you want. You want them sitting on their hocks. So that's it's definitely challenging. You really need to know your horse well and know what's going to come out of the corner. And but I think that makes it even more exciting.
I stay in zone 2, so I never really have issues with too much speed. Don't you worry. You have a busy weekend as well, a lot of training work as well. I know that you have a student coming up later on today in the Grand Prix. In fact, tell us firstly, for a professional rider to then move into that, to transition into that, how is the training, coaching?
This is something that we love to do. I think the Ashford group loves that. We are very into it, bring some young riders or talented riders into the sport, and Lara is just showing that today. She was now just placed in the first class. Last week she won a class, so very proud to be able to train Lara, and I think she has learned more and more. In Shanghai we jumped our first clear round in our first global Grand Prix, so we're looking forward to this. Memphis is in great form, her horse, and I think it's going to be a great experience for her.
Much like in football, when a former player goes on to become a manager, what's it like when you have Marlon the rider hats on and you got to take it off and kind of watch him kiss and cry and be a trainer? Are those two very different personalities for you?
Very different personalities, yes. I would say as a trainer I try to be calm and try to show them, anticipate to them everything that might happen or not happen through the course with the experience we have. And as a rider, I'm very hard on myself, and I try to be very competitive, and I think that's different personalities. And that for me, I love doing both, and if I can combine both like we're doing now, it's a great opportunity.
Talk to me about Marlon the rider then. We're happy to see you in Shanghai. Some might be asking, where are you at right now? Taking a lot of time to produce some younger horses. Where are you now in the Marlon Zonatelli stable at the moment?
Yeah, we have an amazing group of young horses, 8, 9 years old. So there's horses that bring big promise. The 2 mares I have here, 2 horses that I believe very much on it, and horses that will do that in the future. And that's why we're taking our time with them, because we believe there are horses that will be able to win any of the legs on the GCT tour. But that's where we are right now, and be patient to be able to produce those horses the right way, give them the time that they need, and once they're ready to perform, then be really aggressive and attacking against all the others.
That patience is such a crucial word, because how do you try and be super patient? Because you see maybe a lot of riders that do risk it. I don't want to say risk, maybe that's not the right word, but they do roll the dice on a 9-year-old. I'm thinking of young Gilles Thomas, who qualified on a 9-year-old for the LGCT Grand Prix last week, qualifies again on another 9-year-old. Outstanding and amazing producing of horses from Gilles Thomas at the moment. But when you see an outstanding 9-year-old, how do you hold it back to say not now? Even if you feel it's there, it's ready, you see riders perform well on 9-year-olds, Just Be Gentle a couple of years ago. How do you look at an outstanding 9-year-old and say, not just yet, I got to pull back on that? When do you know to pump the brakes and when do you let it go?
Yeah, it's a lot about the feeling, and I think like just the example you use about Just Be Gentle, she has been in their stables by Ludger for years before, so you know the horse very well. My 9-year-old's a horse that is fairly new to me, not even 7 months I have them, so it's a horse that still we're developing a partnership. It's a horse that we need to get experience in different rings. Already this ring here, from being small and everybody's so close, different ground, for the horses is already an experience, so not to push them I think is the right call right now, but definitely it is about feeling and knowing your horse. Gilles at the same, he rides that mare for so long, he's been winning a lot in the 2-3 star level already with her, so he knows that she's ready for it, and we saw it last week that she's also ready.
I look forward to seeing a calm trainer, Marlon, in the Kiss and Cry later today. Your promise, not mine. Best of luck to Lara today. I hope that it's a really good afternoon for her. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your time. A former LGCT Grand Prix winner here in Paris, Marlon Zonatelli, joins us live in the studio as we get ready to build up to today's Grand Prix, the 7th of the season. The start is moments away. Before we get to the actual class, let's remind you as to what took place in the previous stage as we went back to Romanchuel, Saint-Tropez. Let's flash back.
A very good afternoon. Occasions in world sport do not come any bigger than this one. Welcome to leg 6 of the Longines Global Champions Tour. Jérôme Guéry now set sail for the final fence here in Romanchuel Saint-Tropez for the first double clear of the afternoon. Scott Brash target as he eyes up his 14th Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix win. Now the home run. Scott Brash races down to the final phase. Look at this time. He knocks a chunk out of Jérôme Guéry's time. Juliette Paillard will not be afraid of Scott Brash's time. The home turn now. This will be very tight to the line. Juliette Paillard is going to be just behind Ken Farrington. We welcome. Scott Brash's time is in peril. The 1-1 comes down to the final fence. He will be just outside 1.19 seconds.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't think I had the perfect round, but she's an amazing mare and so quick. So, yeah, that's what won it in the end.
Close her channel to me. Stage impact what takes place coming into Paris here this evening. Let's bring it up for you. This is the overall rankings now following that stage, and let's give you a perspective as to what it looks like for Gilles Thomas, the young Belgian who continues to impress and continues to shine in 2025. He now leads by more than 17 points over Simon de Lestre. The Frenchman on Dexter Fontenay will be looking to try and finally be victorious here tonight in front of his home crowd. Scott Brash, 2 victories already in 2025. His season is flying high. And Max Kuhne, the defending LGCT champion, returns here to Paris and will have a very, very early start. We look forward to seeing Andreas Schau and Dennis Lynch later on today as well. But those are the overall rankings coming into Paris here this week. It is going to be an outstanding LGCT Grand Prix, and we are looking forward to seeing the impact of today. Can it finally be the day of Simon de Lestre? Can the Frenchman finally, under the Eiffel Tower here in the heart of Paris, in front of all of the Parisian fans, can he finally be the man to go on and win the title? That becomes the big question. We took some time to catch up with Simon de Lestre.
Second in the Longines Global Champions Tour standings at the moment. Your form has been really good. How do you look across the season or look back at the season so far?
Yeah, at the moment we have a really good start. I'm really happy to have Cayman set in a great form, in a great shape. It's an amazing horse, and when you have him, makes big difference. Now he's gonna jump Monaco again, and this year he's gonna be really focused on the tour, all the tour, and I will push for the overall for sure.
How do you go about preparing the horses to make sure that they are really up there competing every single round?
With Cayman, honestly, he had 2 amazing wins beginning of the season, Den Bosch and Paris, and then I give him a rest, long rest. I just do a couple of jumps at home, and he directly went to Cannes. and jump directly the qualification. He won the qualification, double clear in the Grand Prix. That's very impressed that he can do, and it's for sure a different level of horses.
You're a hugely competitive person. How much do you relish the pressure of being one of the front runners in the Longines Global Champions Tour?
My first goal is always to jump clear, for sure, like everybody, but I always try to save. And I try to be as competitive as I can, but don't take stupid risk in the jump-off, especially we have a big number in the jump-off. Like for sure in Cannes, I know where I lose like a couple of time. It's the one turn before the last, and I was one stride just around just to save the vertical. We were 10th in the jump off, only 2 clear rounds when I went in. You say, okay, at least when you are clear, you are 3rd, you have 1 down, you are 9th. So on this turn, I could go a little bit more, but with 1 down, I would finish 8th. It's also, you had to risk, but not everything.
During your career, one of the traits has been you've won LGCT Grand Prix, but it's been the amount of podiums that you have had that has really helped you sustain success. Will that, or will recreating that within this season help you potentially win the LGCT Championship?
I think now the 18th year I'm top 30 without never being out of top 30 for 18 years. So I try always to be very competitive, but to save the ranking, to save the position, and not to risk everything every time. When I can win, I try and I catch the win. But sometimes I saw the jump off, I know my horse, and I know if I try to go for that time, it's almost more risky, or like 90% to have the fence down that I'm not doing.
You go clear, the jump off goes brilliantly, all the tight turns come off, and you win here in Paris, the LGCT Grand Prix of 2025.
So every competition we are talking about this level is something special, very special. You cannot win like 200 in your career. So winning that kind of competition in front of your whole crowd is something very special, very emotional, and that's always a dream to win this kind of competition.
Simon Lelestre, is this the moment for the Frenchman? Is he finally going to be the guy that gets on top of the podium here at the end of the night at the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Paris? We are hours away from finding it out. He will have to compete with 39 other of the best riders of the weekend here in Paris. It is no easy task to be victorious on the LGCT stage, and Simon Lelestre is hoping to make tonight his night. Who else has been victorious here in Paris? That's an interesting question. Let's talk about previous winners who we call the Hall of Famers here in Paris. Which riders have been victorious on this very ground in years gone by? Everyone may recall a very, very memorable moment of Christian Ahlmann, who came back after a very heavy injury to conquer Paris and win an LGCT Grand Prix on his return. What a story that was for Christian Ahlmann back in 2023. Marlon Zanatelli, we opened up the show with him. What a wonderful moment it is for him to come and return to Paris at the stage where he was victorious. Christian Ahlmann winning back again in 2019, Ben Mayer in 2021, and arguably the biggest surprise, the greatest result of them all, many might say, Jean Sadran winning in 2024. What a moment that was for the young French woman to be victorious. Her very first LGCT Grand Prix win, and she did it here in Paris just over a year ago. Who then is going to add their name to that big question mark? Who then is going to hang under that 2025 option? Well, could it well be this man? We'll wait and see. The championship leader, Gilles Thomas. Former Hall of Fame winners here in Paris. Can Gilles Thomas add his name to that list in 2025? The current Longines Global Champions Tour championship leader. Gilles Thomas, that is for you. Talk to me about how it feels, stage in, stage out, to keep receiving that armband and making sure that you are the number one of the competition, Gilles.
Yeah, it's something extra that keeps you motivated. Yeah, it's going well so far, but yeah, we are not even halfway, so it's still it's a long season. But yeah, it's always nice to ride with the armband.
I want to talk about Hermitage Cologne in a moment, but I want to talk about the qualification first. Last week in Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez, you jump a 9-year-old Callista to get into the Grand Prix. This week again, you jump a different 9-year-old. You spoke to us a few stages ago about the importance of producing horses. How is Gilles Thomas producing such quality 9-year-olds and performing at such a high level, Gilles?
Yeah, indeed. If you want to stay higher in the sport, you always need to have fresh horses, upcoming horses. And I think we also breed a bit, and yeah, in Belgium we have a lot of breeders and owners, and yeah, we know them well. And then I've been lucky that I got the chance to ride several good young horses, and we have also a good team at home in our stable that produce them till 8 years old, and then I take over a bit the reins. And yeah, like now it's a bit the middle of the season. I can bring already sometimes 9 years olds to the globals as well, and especially like last week Alissa did very, very good, and also this week Chiara, she jumped clear in round 1, so yeah, it's nice to have also next to Luna and Hermitage also a few very good upcoming horses.
Let's talk about Hermitage. You now bring Hermitage in here to Paris. How is Hermitage feeling for today's LGCT Grand Prix?
Yes, good. Yesterday he felt actually very good, nice, fresh. Today, yeah, it's day after day, so I hope he recovered well from yesterday. It's very warm, but okay, yeah, it's for everyone the same, so let's hope he's again in good shape today.
Another very good stage in the Global Champions League for Valkenswaard United. Any lessons to take out of the GCL that can be applied here today, Gilles?
Any lessons? It's not over till the last one has jumped. I thought like Shanghai would win easily, but then yeah, Max had a few faults. So that's why actually we were very close to have another win. So yeah, you have to fight till the last fence for it.
Great opportunity to extend your championship lead. Gilles Thomas, best of luck.
Thank you.
It's difficult to put into perspective the season that Gilles Thomas is having in 2025. In fact, it was difficult to put into perspective the season he had in 2024, winning his maiden LGCT championship win, or his maiden LGCT Grand Prix win in Shanghai a year ago. All of a sudden, that season just skyrocketed for Gilles Thomas. Everyone was talking about how the young Belgian was the next superstar in the world of show jumping. And here we are, fast forward 12 months later, and Gilles Thomas, 7 stages down, holds on to the championship lead, has that #1 armband across his arm, because he is the man to catch. Think of all the talent, think of all the experience that is below him on that championship standing. Yet it is still Gilles Thomas who is qualifying on 9-year-old horses, and then still has Luna, can still bring Hermitage Cologne through to Grand Prix like today to make sure he tries to add to that championship haul. We spoke about Jean Sadral winning in 2024. What a victory that was for her. But let's not forget that Johan Sebastian Gulliksen was able to get onto the podium as well. An outstanding performance from young Gulliksen. We catch up with him again as well 12 months later as he returns to Paris looking to do it again.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. I'm here with Johan, who actually got his golden ticket here in Paris last year. So, Johan, back again. Is the golden ticket on the cards again?
Hopefully, that's the plan anyway. But today we have a very difficult course, so we will see what happens.
Okay, so tell me, why is this so tricky today?
No, it's a bit open lines in the beginning of the course. Then it's getting really technical in the end here. And then also what matters with the time allowed here. And also the ring here, the arena, it's not so easy to ride on. It's a bit, it goes a bit up and down, which is also you have to think about. So, and it's many efforts, so yeah, it's going to be tricky enough.
Have you walked the jump off yet? What was that looking like?
I haven't looked at the jump off yet, but I will have a look at it soon. So we will see how that look. But anyway, the first round it's hard, very hard.
It's going to be tricky enough then for everyone. How many clears would you be expecting, do you think, then today?
I think between 6 or 8 maximum. Won't be many clears today, because also a lot of the horses jumped yesterday, and they're jumping again today. So which is also tough, and also it's very hot here in Paris today. So that's also going to be playing a big part as well.
Definitely, that's actually a really interesting point, because normally our shows we've got the day off in between, but Paris is different. We obviously had GCL yesterday, big 160 track, best horse, and then everyone's using them again today. Where do you think kind of like the horses, they come in, they've got a little bit of room here in the arena, but it is a lot of jumping for them.
It is, and it's coming quick. The fences are coming quick, so also makes it difficult. And also, yeah, but actually the horses are handling the heat better than what we do actually. So hopefully that will be good today.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for talking to us. Hopefully we'll see you in the jump off.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you very much to Floss Jones. Thank you very much to Johan Sebastian Gulliksen giving us some thoughts on what it is like to return to Paris. And as he points out, always very difficult when there are back-to-back classes. You need to keep the horses fresh. You need to make the right decisions at the right times to be successful throughout the entire week on a global champion stage like this. Let's take you through what the start list looks like, give you some perspective as to how the riders are going to come out. I remind you that from the qualifiers, the best qualifying riders will go towards the end. It is the reverse order of the qualifiers. So Max Kuhne had a handful of fences down in yesterday's qualifier. It means that he will be very early to go. First, in fact, we see Victor Bettendorf, a former LGCT Grand Prix winner in Rome, and also a Super Grand Prix winner, the LGCT Super Grand Prix winner back at the playoffs last year as well. He is pretty early to go as well. And that was an early look at the riders to come out that will start today's LGCT Grand Prix of Paris. It is next. Come with me, right under the Eiffel Tower. Stage 7 gets underway next.
Leg 7 of the Longines Global Champions Tour brings us to the French capital, Paris. Welcome to the 11th edition of this annual showdown, the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Paris, presented by Ville de Paris this afternoon. It's been a wonderful 2 days of sport here, but this, the climax, the Champ de Mars, the mighty avenue that leads away from our main arena, and of course we are in the shadow of this massive La Tour Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower. It towers 330 meters from base to tip and constructed back in 1887 through to 1889, 3 years in construction. It's a warm evening, but we are set fair for what will be a mighty Grand Prix at the halfway point of the 2025 season. This is the 19th Longines Global Champions Tour season that started back in 2006. Jan Tops' incredible initiative. Jan Tops, the president of the Longines Global Champions Tour. The battle is really brewing in terms of our season standings, and Gilles Thomas is out in first place. The battles have been fierce so far. The president of this event, Virginie Coupery Eiffel herself, and our grand jury this evening led by Patrice Alvarado, the grand jury president from France. It is, of course, a world ranking points of the highest points, AAE points on offer this evening. And a qualifying competition for the World Championships in Aachen, that will be next year. In the 10 former editions, only one man has won it twice, Christian Alman, 2023 and 2019. Only Christian has had a double win here. But France are the most successful nation. They have won on 3 occasions. Last year, Jeanne Saint-Dron, the inaugural edition, fell to Kevin Stotz. And 2017 went to Julien Paillard. He's known as the Flying Frenchman for many good reasons. It's very good to have your company. The prize purse is mouth-watering €308,600. But these are the standings. Gilles Thomas out in first place, hotly pursued by Simon Delestre. And Scott Brash, who has had 2 Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix wins. He lies third, not here in Paris. Max Kuhne will be the first out this evening. He is in 4th position. Dennis Lynch, again, handily enough positioned in 9th. He'll start Mr. Boombastic tonight. And Ken Farrington, the world number 1, he lies in 13th place. Jérôme Garry, he was 5th last week. And again, the Vice World Champion is always a threat. The course is set by Gregory Bodo here in the Champ de Mars in Paris. And the test from Gregory, no doubt a stern one tonight. As we take you around the first round for this Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Paris. That is the opening fence. The GC Ox, a 148 by 140 its width. A sharp right-hander straight into a very tall 158 tall vertical. Castelbajak it is at 2. Then 5 strides down to the 150, 160 Athena Oxa. Very airy, fence number 3. But this fence is extraordinary. 2 rails on top of the fillers. It is the Tour Eiffel. That is fence number 4, 160 tall. Then down to 5, it is going to walk 6 strides down to the 153, 160 wide Longines Global Champions Tour Oxa. Then the right-hander into another big Oxa out of the corner. The Longines Eiffel Paris jumping 153 by 160. That is fence number 6. And then 6 strides down to the treble. The Longines combination 159 entering. It's a very serious vertical. 1 stride 8 meters and 3, so a forward distance down to a 160 tall mid vertical. 7B, and then on landing, a holding 8 meter and 1 distance, 1 stride again. The Longines Oxa leaves 152 by 160, fence 7C. This then is an acute, very sharp razorback turn. Back to 8, that is the Arc de Triomphe. It's a wall at 160, very, very substantial. Right-handed, they then run to the Liverpool fence 9. The Hippocampus is 153 by 160. Then down to 10, 160 tall, that vertical. This then the final combination, the gold-red double, 152, 160 entering at 11A. Right on the flank of a very busy VIP section. By this point, fatigue just getting a little bit of a factor as well, potentially. 8 meters, quite a holding 1 stride to 11B. 158, just 2 centimeters away from 160 max height. And then 4 strides down to this big Oxa at 12, the Trippy Trio. 153 by 160. That is the penultimate. And then this left-handed dog leg turn will bring our combinations home around the first round of Gregory Bodo's Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix track here in Paris. That is 13. It's over water, and it is 162 tall. It's a monster. Fence number 13. There's the man at the helm of the courses here in France over the legs. We've had the last 3 legs on the Longines Global Champions Tour in France. Cannes, leg 5, last week in Ramatoire Saint-Tropez. And this week we've travelled north to the French capital. Well, this has seen everybody taking in because it will be a mighty occasion. We've had a decade of wonderful sport here, and as I say, only Christian Alman has won here twice. As we take you down the start list for this evening's Grand Prix, Max Kühne lies 4th in the Longines Global Champions season standings. He'll kick us into action. And Penelope Le Prévost was 3rd here 2 years ago with this horse, Bengal del Tondu, starting at 6. Andreas Sco, he lies in 7th place on the Longines Global Champions Tour season standings. And Jérôme Gris with that horse, Killer Queen, 5th last weekend, looked very good in Ramatoire Saint-Tropez. Jack Whitaker saddles a 9-year-old shotgun. And Abdul Said, he won leg 1, the Longines Global Champions Tour of Doha with his other horse, Bon Ami. Natalie Dean was 8th here last year. It's a new ride for her at Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix level. Crescendo MBZ. Marcus Enning, Priam du Rosset for Marcus. There's the former double champion. Christian Alman will start at 34. Dorcan Hero Z won the Longines Grand Prix in Hamburg recently. And the season's leader, Gilles Thomas, has got the outstanding Hermitage de Cologne to come after Christian. Just some of those we can't wait to see. And of course, the competition is going close to the wire. McLean Ward will be the 3rd last of the first round, and he is the one, number 5. Brand new ride for McLean, former Tim Gredley ride Imperial HPF for the man from the USA. It is a course that certainly is dimensionally impressive. It will require precision. Gregory Bodo does not relinquish from a very tough challenge typically. He builds fair courses, but tonight we expect an epic battle. And delighted to welcome you to the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Paris, the 11th edition here in 2025. Forty combinations from 19 nations, and 7 nations bring multiple representation. Belgium has 8. The home nation France and Germany 5 apiece. The USA will field 4 this evening, and a pair for Brazil, Denmark and Great Britain. 12 nations with 1. This, the first one, the one for Austria tonight. Max Kühne, Luxembourg, Czechia, Spain, Chile, Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, the Netherlands, Ireland, Portugal and Mexico are the 12 sole represented nations tonight here in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Paris. Well, here we go. Things are certainly very tense at the mid-season point because the season standings are really being fought over by some of the greats. A generational battle as well, because Gilles Thomas, he's only 26, out in first place. Simon Delestre trails him. Scott Brash is in third behind Simon and Gilles. Then comes this man in fourth place, Max Kühne. And Max, who won the season standings last year, with the win coming in Ramator Saint-Tropez, but it's a rocky start, I'm afraid. Blue d'Aveline takes the first fence. This is on a Balusini cross to Coriel out of the Swiss stud book. Blue d'Aveline, former rider Gerrit Nieberg, the German, and actually Gerrit was 12th in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in La Coruña back in 2023. Max, I'm afraid, second error, the Longines Global Champions Tour Oxa. Now it takes an inside line to get back to this Tricolore on the far side, Big Oxa at 6, 153, 160. This pair together since February of last year. Competed the horse lightly actually in their initial year together. This is their very first five-star Grand Prix as a combination, out over the Arc de Triomphe, wall at 160. I think that is why Max is going on, because the modern trend is quite a quick retirement once things start going out of your direction of desirability. But first five-star Grand Prix for Max and Blue d'Aveline. He's just going to get this horse, I think, across the finish line. Yes. So through down it is. I don't think we yet have an indication of just how tough this course is, bearing in mind their rawness is a five-star Grand Prix combination. Last year's season's champion on the Longines Global Champions Tour has 12 penalty sites. His brand new partner on the Longines Global Champions Tour, Blue d'Aveline, for Austria's Max Kühne. 12 is the opening score of the Longines Global Champions Tour.
An early fault for Max Kühne. He'll be devastated. Fence one going down denies him the opportunity to get into the jump-off. So the 2024 champion, Max Kühne, will not be in tonight's jump-off. We continue looking for who is going to be the first rider to qualify for tonight's jump-off with a clear. Come and join us with your GCTV Live Pass. Come to Paris, your ticket to the world, and we'll show you the rest of tonight's Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Paris. We'll see you now.